Good morning. Hopefully we'll be able to meet again in just a couple of weeks. We're going to watch and see how things go and make a decision on when we can come back together. Several years ago I saw a cartoon in a church bulletin, which in and of itself is a rare thing. This cartoon portrayed a young man walking up the front walkway to a church building, tall steeple, cross on top. And as he was walking up this walkway, he turned and looked over his shoulder at the car that he had just arrived in, which was a pretty convertible. The driver of that convertible was the devil. And as he looked over his shoulder, he said, "Keep the motor running. I will be right back." You know, it's obvious that this guy was headed to the church building to worship, headed to the church building to give God what he thought God wanted. But in his mind, he had plans. And maybe they weren't plans. Maybe just from history, he knew that he was going to slide back into his old lifestyle. What I'm fixing to say, I don't want to take anything away from our assembly together. I think our worship assemblies are very important. But you know, when I was growing up in the church, and even when I went to college, they taught me the 5 avenues of worship: singing, praying, preaching, communion, and giving. But you know, I believe that there is a 6th. And I believe that that 6th is a very important 6th. I think it's an excellent way of saying thanks, of showing the Lord that we love Him, of honoring God and giving God the glory. You see, I think that 6th avenue of worship is your life. I want you to listen to Romans chapter 12, verses 1 and 2. I think Paul lays out very clearly that it is your life. And I'm going to re-emphasize part of verse 1. I'm going to repeat it for emphasis, I should say. Romans chapter 12, verses 1 and 2. "Therefore I urge you, brothers, in view of God's mercy, to offer your bodies as living sacrifices, holy and pleasing to God. This is your spiritual act of worship." Let me repeat that verse. "Therefore I urge you, brothers, in view of God's mercy, to offer your bodies as living sacrifices, holy and pleasing to God. This is your spiritual act of worship. Do not conform any longer to the patterns of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Then you will be able to test and approve what God's will is, His good, pleasing, and perfect will." Don't forget your life as an important avenue of worship. Be safe. Stay well out there.